My dear students of class 9A and 9B, today's chapter, a new chapter, chapter number 8, topic Delhi Sultanate. I am going to introduce you. The name of this chapter is Delhi Sultanate. Delhi Sultanate. The time when Delhi Sultanate, Qutbuddin Aibak introduced a system of a new administration, a new empire, a new dynasty named Delhi Sultanate. Qutbuddin Aibak came to India with his master Muhammad Ghori. And Muhammad Ghori occupied certain places of Delhi and other surrounding areas and appointed Qutbuddin Aibak as his assistant in India. So Qutbuddin Aibak remained there in India and kept on protecting the sites which were occupied by his master Muhammad Ghori. Now Delhi Sultanate started from the year 1206 CE and continued till 1526 CE. And the time when the Delhi Sultanate was formed was in Delhi. Muhammad Ghazni initially was an invader of Ghazni, came to India. Mahmud of Ghazni came to India as invader and invaded a number of Indian temples, because that time, in those days, temples were the greatest storehouses of Indian wealth, storehouses of wealth in India. That's why Mahmud Ghazni, out of other temples, he chose two most important temples of India, the temples of Mathura and the temple of Somnath in Gujarat. And he plundered immense wealth, untold wealth from our country, India. The time when Mahmud of Ghazni came to India from Ghazni was not a prosperous city. Ghazni was actually a very small village, and there was no growth and development at Ghazni. The people of Ghazni were beggar. So Mahmud Ghazni plundered Indian wealth with a view to improve the living style of the people of Ghazni. He wanted to bring prosperity at Ghazni, and he did it at the cost of Indian money, Indian wealth. Mahmud of Ghazni also showed a pathway of attacking or targeting other temples. So who were impressed by Mahmud of Ghazni? The two other powers like the Turks and the Afghans were encouraged by the invasions of Mahmud of Ghazni, and later on they also targeted the temples of India. So it can be said easily that the invasions of India, the invasions of Ghazni paved the way for the Turks and Afghans for further conquest of India, and also resulted in the beginning of a new era in Indian history, and this new era is known as Delhi Sultanate, my dear students. Delhi Sultanate. And what are the sources of the history of the Delhi Sultanate? Literary sources. The Muslim chronicles, writers, historians, they wrote a number of books about the history of the Delhi Sultanates. We come to know about their books, about their chronicles they had left for us. Tarikh-i-Firoz-Shahi, written by Ziauddin Barani, is nothing but an interpretation of the history of the Delhi Sultanate we come to know by reading it, about the reign of Firuz Shah Tughlaq. Besides, the book was completed in the year 1359, and afterwards our country's Asiatic Society of Calcutta published it, many books from there. And apart from this, some foreign travelers also came to India during the period of the Delhi Sultanates. They were they were, Nicola Manussi, they were, Marco Polo, they were other like, uh, Batus, even Batuta of Morocco, they all came to India during the period of Delhi Sultanate and also narrated vivid descriptions. They also have left vivid descriptions about the rule of the Delhi Sultanate. And besides, Chand Bardai's Prithviraj Chaso, one Indian writer, Chand Bardai also wrote a famous book, Prithviraj Raso. He also has narrated about the tussle and fighting, struggling and war between the two famous persons, Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghori. In the first battle of Tarain, Muhammad Ghori was defeated by Prithviraj Chauhan, and in the second battle of Tarain, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori. So Muhammad Ghori, by defeating Prithviraj Chauhan, he established he established the first part of the Delhi Sultanate, and by defeating Prithviraj Chauhan, he also occupied other places of India. And while leaving the country India, he appointed he appointed Kutubuddin as his assistant to look after the vicinities of the areas he occupied. So Kutubuddin Aibak remained in India as the assistant of Prithviraj, assistant of Muhammad Ghori. And so by this way, with the hand of Kutubuddin Aibak, the Delhi Sultanate was established. And apart from this, it is said that Mamluk dynasty, Kutubuddin Aibak introduced his Mamluk dynasty, the slave dynasty, but in course of time, it came to be known as Delhi Sultanate. And next one, archaeological sources. Archaeological sources, my dear students. Archaeological sources. The time when the people were patronized by the Delhi Sultanate, the Delhi Sultanate also had given importance about the archaeological evidences, archaeological sources. What type of archaeology? Inscriptions, coins, monuments, these were made by the Delhi Sultanates. They made it with a view to increase their glory and image for the next generation, so that they must come to know about the images of the Delhi Sultanate, that once upon a time they made these coins, they laid these inscriptions, and they constructed these monuments. A number of inscription. A number of inscription also are found out from there. These inscriptions also beginning from 12th century, which are found in Delhi, around Delhi, and also Uttar Pradesh, help us to reconstruct the history of the Delhi Sultanate. These consist of land grants made by the sultans and description of different battles we come to know from these inscriptions. In addition to copper couplets, copper plates, inscriptions found in arms, shields, and other vases, and these are also found on tombs and coins, forts, inscriptions of different rulers. We come to know about it. Apart from this, these were written in various languages like Sanskrit, Arabic, Persian, and of course Urdu. So there are some bilingual. And next one, monuments. Kutubuddin Aibak started the construction of a monument named Kutub Minar. Although the construction was done under the special care of Kutubuddin Aibak, but he was unable to get it completed, and because of his sudden death, he was fond of playing polo while riding horse. So one day, while playing polo, immediately he fell down from the back of horse and immediately died. So after the death of Kutubuddin Aibak, the remaining part of the construction was completed by his son-in-law Iltutmish, the construction of work of Qutub Minar. Now question is, why was Qutub Minar constructed? Why? Why was the construction work was done or started by Kutubuddin Aibak? What was the reason behind it? The reason was a respect for a Muslim saint. Kutubuddin Aibak had great respect for a Muslim saint named Khaja Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki. Khaja Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki was a great saint. He gained popularity, he gained respect from the people, and Kutubuddin Aibak himself also had great respect for him. So, in order to commemorate the image of Khaja Bakhtiyar Kaki, he constructed the Qutub Minar, Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, the saint, the Sufi saint, Khaja Bakhtiyar Kutubuddin Kaki. In order to commemorate his image, Kutubuddin Aibak started constructing Qutub Minar but was unable to complete, and his son-in-law Iltutmish completed it. So this is one of the most important evidence about the age of the Delhi Sultanate, Qutub Minar. Now, who was Kutubuddin Aibak? You know, as I told you earlier, that Kutubuddin Aibak was basically an assistant of Muhammad Ghori. When Muhammad Ghori came to India to invade our country, initially he faced a battle between himself and the famous king of India, Prithviraj Chauhan. But in his first battle, Prithviraj Chauhan defeated him. But Prithviraj Chauhan was not able to arrest him. By taking advantage of their satisfaction, Muhammad Ghori left the battlefield, somehow managed his life. But next year, when the second battle of Tarain held between Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghori came with full preparation. All the soldiers came with him. They all were fully prepared, mentally determined to defeat Prithviraj Chauhan that time. Ultimately, Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by whom? Muhammad Ghori in the second battle of Tarain. But what mistake once Prithviraj Chauhan committed, Muhammad Ghori had not committed that mistake. Immediately after the defeat of Prithviraj Chauhan, he ordered his men to arrest Prithviraj Chauhan. And he also not only was arrested, but he also kept him in a place, a very shortest place. And then humiliated and brought him back to his own place. And while going there to his destination, Prithviraj Chauhan, under the oppression, under the torture of the soldiers of Muhammad Ghori, he died. He left his last breath, died. So, after defeating Prithviraj Chauhan, Muhammad Ghori also defeated other local rulers of India and occupied their places. And while leaving country, our country, India, he appointed Kutubuddin Aibak as his assistant to look after the occupied areas of India. Till then, Kutubuddin Aibak remained in our country and ultimately introduced a new dynasty, the Delhi Sultanate. First, slave dynasty or Mamluk dynasty, because Kutubuddin Aibak belonged to a slave family, he was actually a slave. That's why the dynasty he established actually known as slave dynasty or Mamluk dynasty, but later on it came to be known as Delhi Sultanate. Up to this, my dear students, next day the remaining part. Thank you.